Hello everyone and welcome back to Cities by Steven. You're talking to Steven. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. Get that bell notification on too so you don't miss out on a video. Welcome back to the channel where last time we were here, we built up Midtown. Pretty cool build. A bit of a high medium density, moving down towards a low medium density. And we filled in some pretty tough spots around this BRT line that we're seeing right here. Rapid bus networks. Yeah, we added some tourism, added in some residential, and I think all in all, it's going to be a good outcome for the city. We also kind of had like a bit of like a courtyard area in the middle, and I really like that. So what's in store for today's episode? Well, we are going to be building a municipal service station. And what is a municipal service station? Well, thinking of the kind of area of your city where your trams and your metros go to park and get serviced. Maybe your bus depot is also there at the same time. And I think that's a really important location for a city, and I think it's an important location to kind of get in City Skylines. Even though it's not always necessary, it's always cool to build those themed aspects to a realistic city in your game. So we're going to start off with that, but first we have a request. In this request, oh, here's Midtown, fantastic. There's actually a suggestion before we get to the request from JMWZ to make a tree of the build. And that is this pink flower tree, which I thought looked really nice in here. So I'm sure in the spring, which this series is set in, all these trees would be bloomed, and holy cow, the smells would be amazing. But I'm sure that they would lose a lot of their flowers throughout the year. But overall, I think that adds a lot of color to the zone as well, and also continues a theme we had going on in our other, in an episode from a few weeks ago, but the new Heart of Korea DLC, where we added in a bunch of flower trees as well. So I think that's it's pretty nice. So what was that suggestion I mentioned? Well, there was a new viewer who asked for a suggestion all the way back on episode 2 recently, and that was to name a street in Prairie Station. Prairie Station. And we're going to be naming this street here. Goes all the way along here. And why this one? Well, I just think that this is a pretty long continuous street that doesn't have a themed name. So why not name the suggestion the street? So let's go into the name here. So it's Carl Robert Street. This is a auto-generated name, but here is the name suggestion. Will Bonnie Way, which is a play to Billy the Kid. I'm guessing that's Billy the Kid's real name. So thank you, Grippin, for that suggestion. That's fantastic. Goes all the way back to the original roots of this town and this series. So we have a couple other gunslingers' names on some streets here. So I think we have Holt, Butch Cassidy, Sundance Kid. So yeah, thank you very much for that suggestion. So where is this going to be today, this municipal service station? Well, we've had this area pegged for a long time for this municipal service station, right outside of Ortonville. And why right here? Well, it's a kind of a confluence of the metro networks. Now, this doesn't always have to be this way. The service station can be in pretty much anywhere along the line. I was looking at Calgary's, and Calgary's, which is a city that I often choose for some inspiration, because that's the same setting as the series. So theirs is all the way on the south end of the city, and their C train line is kind of like a bit of a plus symbol in a way, with a lot of connections in the middle in the downtown core. So not really a plus, but kind of like an X if the middle of the X was really elongated. Yeah, so I think in a way this is kind of that as well, but our service will continue beyond into Dunn, one station. So I'm hoping that maybe we get one more stop in between this municipal station and Dunn, maybe right in here or something like that. So all in all, I think this is a good spot for this, right on a main line here, which is Hamilton Avenue, if you can believe it, which is pretty far from its original starting point all the way down over here. So, and then hopefully we'll have time. Maybe we'll add in a cargo, train cargo station in and around here as well. But I'm going to be using only vanilla assets for this build. Now I will be using Move It, so keep that in mind if you're playing on console or something like that. So let's hop out and kind of talk about how we're going to plan this. So this is a good size space here, and right now we have our metros kind of like this, and we planned it like this in a way so we can kind of simulate that the trains can circulate between metro lines, because we have one metro line going this way and one metro line going this way. Both lines converge and go to Dunn to the south. So technically a train can go in this direction, it can go in this direction, it can go all the way over here and go onto this line, and then it can also come from this direction and go all the way over here, and then it also allows for some access to service points. So that's what we're going to be kind of focusing on today, is that service point connection, but we're going to also eliminate this connection here, that this crossover, because it's not 100% necessary. So this section right here could be changed with some flyovers, and that's what I think we're going to start with, is just redoing this connection here. Okay, so sorry about that cut, but I just want to make sure I got everything right and all the heights right and everything like that before we moved on. So yeah, you saw what I was doing. I was basically just removing the fact that this line here that goes this way into the city didn't have to pass through all this, you know, all these junctions and whatnot. So we built flyovers for them, but then this line over here that comes this way still has to travel through this. But the fact that it's only one line and all other adjoining lines are connecting to it, I'm hoping that it will, you know, be a bit more realistic as well. And in the end, looks like we have one of these trains still stuck here, but we leave all this access point for the service of this line as well. So the metros just need to stay to the outside if they're coming from this way, and then they can get into the service station here. So I think I might actually end up removing this or adding to this connection, because you know, this train here can still go onto this line if they need it to, which is nice. But all in all, I actually don't think this is 100% needed anymore, because then if a train was from this side and it wasn't, for example, on this line, it could just use it, or it could go all the way through. So I don't think we need this anymore. So let's just remove it. We're just going to remove that section there, because we're actually just going to basically repurpose it, and we are going to just bring it out into there. This is never going to be used, so I think the one line is probably a-okay to you know, to have available still. The direction of it, I don't think also really matters in the end of the day, because I think that all that this would be used for is to shuttle trains around, which the city would, you know, have a coordinator, making sure that all the trains are not going to run into each other and whatnot. So let's just make sure that this symbol is gone, though. Trains coming from this side, they can access this loop. Train coming from this side, they can access this loop. So I think all in all, it's a pretty good system here. There is no crossover. There's only the potential for adjoining trains. So yeah, that turned out pretty nicely. I've definitely seen a lot of these flyovers in other cities. Calgary does use a flyover system, I think. Or maybe, no, Calgary has tunnels for their metros, which is pretty neat, or trams, which is pretty neat. Just gonna smooth that out a little bit better. But all in all, it looks like the service points are, or the service section is underneath this flyover. It looks pretty good. I think with some detailing, it would be very functionable. So there we go. Now we need an access point for the trams and trains, well, the trains in this case, to merge into for service, right? So I think the best line of entrance is right off of here into this direction, because then we could also swing a line and kind of connect it up right into this node junction here, kind of this combination. So I think that would be a good idea. So let's get some single lines here. And what we're going to be doing is we're just going to pretty much come from about where it starts to split off. There we go. We're going to go in that direction. And then I would love to re-merge kind of here and then get it to curve in, so we have a good approach angle. onto what we currently have. Something like that. There we go. So let's just clean up this node really quickly. Or sorry, I guess they should just be doubles. Just to make sure that everything we're doing is, you know, all the trains can move in every single direction. Fantastic. Okay, so now we have, you know, two tracks on either side for potential movement of vehicles in either direction. I guess in this case, it's not 100% necessary, but maybe it still works. I mean, a train would then, yeah, this one should be single, because any train coming from this direction going into the service point should probably just go from this side and then converge in, right? So this side should be single going in this direction, because if we're leaving, this side here can go out in this direction, but technically, you know, it could take this track, because I'm sure that they would make sure that there would be no trains on it if a train needed to use it. They'd always get used like this in the early mornings too, so. But all in all, I think that is probably the right selection. Okay, so now that we got that in place, let's just extend it out one more node from this point with all the tracks we need, just to make sure that this is a-okay. And it's a little messy, so let me just clean that up. Awesome. Okay, so now that we have that, this is where all of the metros are going to get serviced. So we have kind of come into an area here that we will get to decide on where it goes. Should we curve it this way now and have the service on this side? Should it just be right into here? And I definitely think maybe we should curve it in this way, just so we can save some space out over on this side of things, because I do want to get other services in here as well, which I want that access on this road for. So let's think about road access. Hamilton Avenue is a pretty important street here. I definitely think there needs to be an entry point, right, from this side at least, and I also think there should be an entry point onto this side. So we have a legacy road right here, and this is the same road that is this road here, but was severed when they added in the rail right-of-ways. So let's continue that road just by doing that. Looks like things might have changed a little bit, so let's just redraw this whole thing in. Okay, fantastic. So now we have maintained the same grid that we currently have all throughout here, so that is fantastic. So let's continue this road out over to here, at least about right there. Where should we get the entrance point for this service area? Well, let's take a look at the topography. That would definitely be a big tell for us. We're on a bit of a hill here, so that's actually not the worst, not the best idea to have a service area in here, but we'll definitely flatten it out. We should probably do that right now, actually. So let's just take all of this with move it, and I'm just going to select them all like this, and we'll say get to this height here. There we go. So that's going to be the height that we need. So let's just level it all out. All right, so now that we have this road in here, what we've done is we've also kind of given the main avenue of the area. The main road for the whole service point is going to be right in here. So this also kind of tells us that we should have the main entrance right about here, because it's pretty level. Definitely think that would work. So let's just take a road. Let's go this one. It's a big one. And we'll just do it right in between them. How about that? I think that's okay. Believe we're going to get another road here, another road through here at some point. So let's just leave it at this for now. It works. All right, so we got this in play here. We got some stuff going on over on this side. We got some stuff going on over on this side. Let's focus on the metro first, since that's what we've been doing so far. How are we going to play the service point for a metro and these trains? Well, see, that's the issue. There's no vanilla metro terminal like there is with trams, for example. That doesn't mean that we can't use them again for this service. Now, that is an option. You can also use some larger warehouses as well. I like the warehouses. They're pretty fun. If you use the... That's not warehouses. If you use the large one, let's just place it down somewhere. It looks like you can bring them in a little bit, but there's no real like good like back side, like back entrance connection or something like that. So this one doesn't exactly work in the end, I guess, but you can definitely still use them for that theme if you're going for it. And then let's try the medium one. This one actually does work a lot better. See how there's garages right in the front? It's a bit tricky to see with the sunlight, but right here and then right here. So those could be used as like service bays. And I think this one is definitely going to be a good one, a good option for us. So let's use that just so we don't have to reuse the tram one all the time. And then let's talk about how we're going to bring this road in, because I think we're going to curve it in from here. So let's bring it right here. Well, actually, let's see how far away we are on this side with the grid. So looks like we are 7 away. So let's try and get another road on this side that is about 7 clicks out. Okay, fantastic. So now we have a good angle here, and this is actually going to leave us for a good angle of approach for our metro service point. So let's get that warehouse in, and let's just throw it down and align it. So did we delete it? No, we didn't. Nice. So let's just grab it with move it. Okay, so I like this angle, these how this connects a lot actually. So let's just try and find a good spot for these to kind of sit inside of this zone. We could put them on a bit more, on a bit more of an angle, so that we kind of maximize our space here. That could be good. Oh, look at this. There's actually all these bays right here as well. Ooh, okay, well, that is interesting to have this in play on this side. So now we are gonna bring in this rail here from this point. So let's just bring this out, this 2-liner. How about to right about here? And then we're going to just bring single lanes out from here. We're gonna turn off our guidelines. We're just gonna bring them right into the bays like that. And then from here again. Okay, so it doesn't really work that well on this side, so I don't think we'll play it on that side, but I definitely like the idea of continuing that a bit farther. So why don't we just upgrade this right here, and why don't we then just bring this node forward to about right there, and then we can swing these two out from here and just bring this one into the garage, and this one. It's gonna be a bit trickier, but I'm definitely sure we can get this going. Okay, I want to get one more. Okay, so there we have it. Pretty fun connections here. I think a bit of node controller could do wonders on this little section here. Oh man, come on. I really messed it up. I wasn't expecting it to mess it up that much, to be honest. I was just hoping that we could swing this side wide open so that we have a bit of a better angle here, because now we gotta redo this one too. And that's unfortunate. But all in all, in the end of the day, I think it all worked out. So, what is in store next? Well, you see all these icons. Yeah, that's not... Oh, gosh, there's another one. Hold on. All right, so you see all these icons now. That's really annoying, right? So let's clean that up. And one way we can do that, you know, with the power of anarchy and mods, is to literally just, they're inside of the buildings now. Just connect them. Just connect them. Hopefully they'll go away. Surprised that they haven't, to be honest. That's a little bit weird. Well, let's just connect these two. And then let's just connect these two. And then I think we're just going to need a bit more movement, to be honest. All right, there we go. So now those icons are gone, which is very, very nice indeed. So that's how the trains get in there, but how are we going to get people in there? Well, luckily, when you're working on these things, you definitely know when the trains are coming in and out, and they probably have those classic level crossing icons. At least that's what I saw on the Google Maps. So I think what we can do is just grab our industry road here and make a good connection, just like this. We'll make sure our guidelines are on. That'll be helpful. And we'll get a level crossing through here, which is the main junction point. So I think that's going to be okay. And then we'll just continue this one along. And then I believe we can say that maybe there's an access point over here. Yeah, it looks like we can squeeze one in as well. So let's turn off our guidelines so we can get this road right through here. And yeah, I think that'll work out in the end. So now that's how we're going to get road access here, but we need water, of course. Wouldn't be an episode if I didn't forget water at some point. Looks like we have an access main or water main right here, but let's take it in from the city. All right, so now I think the only icons there are going to be the road access icons, unfortunately. But so in order to at least get some purpose out of them, what we're going to do is we're just going to say unique factory products. There shouldn't be too many of those around here, but if they ever need the trucks, we're going to have all those trucks in play. Oops. So tons of trucks moving unique factory products around, that's for sure. All right, so now let's try and remove those icons. And the best way to do that is probably via this road. So let's just clean up this road network a little bit. I think maybe what we can do is we can run a road right about here, down, like that. And let's just, you know, pretty much just bring them right through. We don't need to connect any nodes. I should probably have deleted that one right there because we did connect to a node. So let's do that. We'll turn off node connections. We'll turn off all our guidelines. And all I'm going to be doing is drawing in this road right through here, just to remove those icons. And I'm sure that, you know, there is some type of road access through here anyways. Fantastic. Okay, so while there are some rails through here that are causing some unrealistic features, I think at the end of the day, folks, I think we're gonna have to live with it. It looks pretty cool. I like it. All right, so now let's take this road and we're gonna run it right beside the building here, like that. Okay, fantastic. So what can fit in this little zone right here? Well, maybe one of these yards. Yeah, you know what? I think that does fit. So let's place this down and we'll just bring this one forward a little bit. Look at that, fits perfectly. Let's bring it so it's connected to this wall here. And then why don't we just run something out of this just to make sure that there's, you know, some trucks going in and out. And we'll just do commercial zone goods. And why commercial zone goods? Well, it's always good to have. It's only 10 trucks with this building as well, so it's not the end of the world if we decide to keep it. And look at that, that green train is actually using the flyover. That is fantastic. I'm very excited about that. But all in all, look at this. This is coming along pretty good. So that is one feature we need. I'm going to leave this space open because why not? And why don't we just bring this one out a little bit like that. And then what we'll do is we'll just connect this down here like so. Okay, very good. And maybe we can get something over in here. But what other services do we need? Well, I definitely think we should have the tram services in here. And this actually could make a good spot for it. But I was thinking maybe we could try and get the tram service points in here. It's a little tight, but maybe it could work. Mainly because I would like it if the tram roads could kind of start and end right here. But we haven't really left ourselves much space, have we? So perhaps what we need to do is say that this is a newer edition of the city's infrastructure, and the trams run somewhere else. Maybe they get serviced over here. It would make sense to keep all the service points somewhat together. Now, I don't think it would make sense to put them right in here, because if the trams are leaving, they'd have to cross over this. But yeah, I don't think they would like to have all those rails in that one spot. That would be maintenance nightmare if I do think so myself. So let's get the trams out right in here, which is kind of interesting because I definitely don't want the trams on this road. That's something I don't want at the end of the day. I might get a tram up in here, I'm not too sure. So that could leave us a good access point. But we could definitely run the trams down this road. The tram tracks, like an industrial tram road or something like that. We could bring it down into here, connect it up with this station, or we could even fly over this road and then bring it down over onto this side. And that sounds pretty cool to me. So we also need that access point from this side here, right? That's something that we said we were going to do. So let's just grab the same road from before and let's just connect it down. Very good. That works. Who knows, we're going to get a road in that direction, so it's nice to have that extra slot available. So let's get that tram service point. So I just placed it down mainly because I just want to see the building size, and we're going to orientate it in a good direction here. Now I do like the idea of maybe getting it a bit closer over on this side. That's pretty nice. I like the detailing of this building a lot. It's nice that it comes so detailed already. Let's get it to that height actually. Okay. Yeah, that's really nice. And I think the idea of having it over here is pretty good. Perhaps it was an old cargo station at some point or something like that. An older industrial area outside of Dunn along the rail line that was converted or something like that. I think that theme plays well. Do we need two to kind of get the right theme along here? I don't know. Let's see if we place it down. Oh, I probably shouldn't have connected them. So I think the only option we would have if we wanted to connect them would be to make them the same building physically. And that would mean connecting them like this, which I don't see necessarily a problem with. Okay, now they're the same building, but the tram tracks or the train tracks over here are a little close. So let's just grab these and move them over. Okay, very good. So definitely want to make sure that we have a tram connection onto this road. So maybe we have to have this section of a road connected, or maybe we just grab both of these and just rotate it slightly so we can squeeze a road in. I guess it needs to be a road in the end, right? So let's get that tram road. Is there like an industrial version of it? I thought we had one at some point, but all my roads got messed up. Okay, so I decided on elevating this road here. So it kind of creates a bit more of a separation between the trams and everything else, but I definitely need another access point onto here. But maybe we can get that access point off of Old Prince Charles Street. So I actually don't mind that at all. So let's just get a simple industrial road and we will branch off of it Now the service station that I was kind of modeling this after didn't have any security gates, so that's why we haven't done any security gates for this build. Let's actually just upgrade this road right here. All right, so now we have that entrance point, which is fantastic. It looks like we also need a bit of a service point here for this road. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Okay, I really like how these buildings look together. They definitely look real neat. So I see the garbage situation over here, and we'll definitely come back to this with the detailing time lapse. But something that I'm noticing is that I'm sure the garbage truck would have to come in via here, and then they would probably just enter onto this side. And this is really just supposed to be for trams shuttling back and forth between the two stations or something like that, or maybe coming in from this side and then just going into this side. It's just for game mechanic reasons. I didn't like it level to the ground because we are more elevated than the road here. But you know what? Come to think of it, it's kind of strange looking. So let's just lower it back down to the ground level, and you see how we're having this glitching? Well, what we can do to just fix that is to just grab these nodes here and then just set them to the same height as the buildings that we're working with, right? And are these... It looks like the heights are all off, so let's just fix this. Never mind, it was just the fact that things weren't fully leveled out. And that's okay, so let's just fix this slope as well. Yeah, lots of these little kind of fixes occur every episode. And yeah, it eats up some time, doesn't it? Actually, let's go from here all the way to about here. Yeah, all right, so there we go. We have the tram. So let's run the tram road down through here. And like we said, we were going to emerge from right about here, right? So let's do that. All right, so we are going to leave that tram for now the way it is, because we'll definitely come touch on that in the future. So what's next? Well, I think the last major thing we need to fit in here are buses. So yes, buses, very important. We have a couple bus stations nearby, which maybe we can come back and remove down the line now that we've kind of got some stuff going. But maybe what we do is we bring in a bus repair hub or something like that. And I think the only logical place would be right in this little area here. Buses can, of course, wait at these crossings. They don't need to have crossing rails. So the maintenance on that wouldn't, on this little intersection, if we had like trams going through back and forth through here too, would have just been astronomical. But I can definitely see us getting buses. And then also we have an access point right here as well, which is convenient. So why don't we upgrade this road then to a bus style road, and we can use pretty much any bus road we have. I thought I had more than that. Oh yeah, there we go. Just to kind of keep the theme alive and well, we'll just add this here like that. I think this is probably a better one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so when it comes to bus hubs, what do we need to do? Well, in my opinion, you know, there are the bus hubs that we have right here. Now, from what I saw, it looked like it was kind of like a bit of a combination bus terminal and bus service station in the area that I was looking at, but we don't need to copy the theme exactly that we're kind of going for. But sometimes these kind of areas are also have a bus station nearby, right? So we can totally do that. It could be like off of here or something like that, right? It could be this larger one. It could be an intercity bus hub as well. It doesn't necessarily fit here, but perhaps that could fit somewhere over on this side, right? Pretty close, pretty nearby. yeah, pretty centrally located point off of an old highway. So maybe we can do that in the future. But definitely things we need to add in are the all the bus depots. These are really convenient to add in. They look really nice as well. So just the normal bus depot and the biofuel bus depot. I think that's all the bus depots that we have. Yeah, and then one other item we can add in just to kind of add in another building is this. Another building that we can add in our kind of services kind of area is, while we're kind of looking through buildings, is the post office building. They look really nice in this kind of build. If it fits, we'll place it in. If it doesn't, we're not going to force this in. It could fit over on this side though, if we redraw it in. So maybe we'll come back to that. I'll just place it down here for now, just so I don't forget. But bus terminal areas. Okay, so this building looks fantastic. This building looks like it has the most assets for people hanging out in, the bus drivers on their break, you know? So let's get this in a great location. And I'm sure it would be loud, but maybe we kind of get it over here a little bit. Or maybe this should be a bit more centrally located, a bit closer down here, and then this one over here can be in a bit of a louder area. Yeah, maybe we do that. So what we do is maybe we bring it like this. Okay, very good. One other building that I forgot to add in is actually in the road section, and that is the road maintenance depot. So I think this one would go really well as kind of like the main office building for this area. And I think there's no better location than right in here, right? So let's get that in there then. Now that we have this in place, we have all the assets down that we need. All we really need to do is work on maybe that post office area over here, but I don't want to necessarily delete that road, so maybe we just don't need it. We don't necessarily need this in this whole area at all, do we? No, we don't. There's not much purpose in the end of this for anything over here at all, and in the end of things, right? So maybe what we do is we delete this part of the road. Maybe they remove that. This can just be here for legacy reasons. And then this can just be the main entrance for this whole area, right? It doesn't need to have a purpose. Maybe we have a bit more of like an industrial kind of zone through here as well. That could work out in the end, but we don't have any industrial demand really, so I'd rather save that for the future when we build up in this area. Pretty much all of this zone I don't really have, at the end of this, I don't really have a plan for, so let me know if you have a suggestion or anything like that. But let's get big parking lots in here. That is definitely, you know, a realistic thing to have through here now. Whoa. Just tons of parking. That is definitely something that would be here. This is for buses at the end of things. And then let's just make sure that we get this one out into here. Okay, very cool. So, yeah, let's get some nice big parking lots. Now we have a couple options for ourselves. We have the ones with that go like this. We also have the ones that are ploppable. So let's start off with, actually I think the ploppable ones would probably play better into this, wouldn't they? So let's get that going. All right, so I didn't mean to spend so much time doing that, so I sped it through. But we'll definitely fill it up with concrete and stuff like that to make it look like a real parking lot. But I couldn't really get something that I liked for the buses, how buses would park. So I assume buses would park in these middle sections, kind of thing. But I definitely think that in the end, it's all gonna work out. It looks cool. It kind of gets the gist across anyways. So I definitely think there's gonna be some more parking opportunities for employees along the sides here. So we'll definitely get to that in the detail build. But yeah, hope you kind of like what we got so far. Lots of cool themes going on. At the end of the day, there's not really a ton of building, but lots of really important projects for the future. Also, this is gonna play in really well when we detail up this zone through here. It's gonna be really important to kind of have this municipal area established before we move into a suburb nearby. It also kind of creates a bit of a neat entry point. And then also, if we're gonna get a metro stop, it looks like that ship has either sailed with everything, or what we do is we have that metro stop kind of in this zone here, right through here. Maybe we squeeze it in, but also it's pretty close, so maybe what we'll do is we'll just shuttle people to Dunn there, or we'll shuttle people over to Ortonville. It's kind of like an express line, right? So maybe they can have the tram service as their kind of main mode of transportation. But without further ado, folks, let's hop into the speed through detailing portion of this build. All right, so I think I finished. So yeah, pretty good one today. Lots of speed throughs and whatnot, but I think that all in all, it played out really well. We got this big parking lot for all the buses in the bus depot. They got their service points here. Maybe the buses even go onto this side. We got the main office building over here. We got some other depots as well for other trucks. We have a main post office area, which can probably act as kind of like the front of the business. If mail comes in and out of the municipal service area, or maybe contracts and stuff like that get dealt with there. It's kind of like the forward-facing operation of the more like general offices over on this side. I got some cool props in here and make it seem like there's actually some activity over here. We got a radio tower so that they can communicate with all the trains throughout the region. We've got some other warehouses and cargo stored, which is fantastic. And then over here, we just got a bit more of a little warehousey district, which I'm thinking of changing up a little bit. We'll see how it plays out in the end. But we have this green space over here for some items, and then we also fenced off everything else so we can have some external services. So we have the fire out on this side, for example. We can get some other stuff over here. We also have a garbage service point over on this side. So we detailed it up as well in this area, and maybe that kind of shows what the reasoning is for the loop in the first place. And we have the two flyovers. And things seem to be going pretty well as we see this train go through here. Stays below everything. That's all good. And then we have the two flyovers for the green line. And all in all, folks, I think the episode turned out pretty well. There we go. Going above the flyover. Or on top of the flyover. So, yeah, a bit of a unique horse in this one. Doing this service point. But, we're looking at the whole city as a whole now. And I think this is kind of one of the last one-offs before we can get on to a larger project. So it's always good to have these one-offs. I really enjoy them. And we also got the trams ready. So that's kind of what we were waiting for the trams. So without further ado, folks, I'll talk to you next time. Let's see how we can get a good screenshot here. Peace out.